then don't even take our policy. But it was a takeaway. And I said, but only if you're sure. And only if your wife is sure about what you have. Because at the end of the day, this is about taking care of each other, right? So the wife made the husband grab the black box, and the trainee with me pulled the policy out, his personal policy he never showed me. It ended up being a group certificate, Shay. And when I showed the wife, the policy owner was not him. She was like, heck no. She was like, what do you want to do? Because I'm going to take this policy. And I let the wife and the husband go at it with each other. He was like, you know what? I'm going to take it. And he was like, but I don't know if I want to take it at 302. I'm not sure. So I, between that dialogue, thank God for my regional leader before I went regional, training us on how to really do the exercises in a book called How to Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins. Because there's so many different closing styles and techniques in there that many people, because it's such a technical book, they overlook the exercises. And thank God he made me do the exercises, because this is where I really learned how to do the Benjamin Franklin close. So I was about to walk out. I closed my notepad and I went through the Benjamin Franklin close. I said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, so history, the last thing I'll go over, maybe this will help you make a decision. History has proven that most great decision makers believe that a great decision was only as good as the facts. The last thing I would want to do is encourage you guys to make an unwise decision. However, if it does prove to be a good decision, you would want to make it, wouldn't you? They said, yes. Fine. So do you mind if I help you really quick? Great. Let's draw a line down the middle of this pad. And I took a piece of paper out. I drew a line down the middle and list the facts favoring on this side, list the facts favoring the right decision today. Then over here, list the reasons against it. When we're through, we can count the columns and at that point, make the right decision. So if the decisions favoring going with the policy are more than the reasons why we should not, then we'll take the policy. But if the reasons why we should not go with the policy and take it outweigh the decisions to go with it, then we just won't take the policy. Sounds fair? They said, yeah, that sounds great. So I wrote out all the reasons that they should take the policy, and I'll do it in a second. And then after I wrote out 6 reasons, they could only come up with 1. This is really important. Do not help them with the negative side. Do not help them come up with the cons. Let them come up with it. And the only one, guess what it was, Shay?
What was it?
Cost. That was it. 302. It was just a 302. At the end of the day, it was just the money. And they could pay it. They just was kind of shaky on it. And they were like, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, okay, let's add up the columns and see what we've got. And they're like, all right, we'll take it. By the way, this technique was used by one of our famous men, Benjamin Franklin. We consider him one of our wisest men, haven't we, guys? And they were like, oh, okay. So they took the policy, but it goes further than that. So because they took a while to meet me, and I never shared this in the QA because it just takes too long, and I want to get straight to the point. But for you guys to know how solid our company is, I went through, there's like certain levels in home office, and I had to talk to like the top tier level, and Shaq had to get me connected with them because the couple didn't meet with me until 2 months down the road. I submitted the MRN, the money requirement form, and they drafted not 1 month, they drafted 2 months in a row, Shay. They drafted 604. It was my fault that I didn't know that. So I felt so bad because not only was it hard to get them to move forward to take the rated policy as is, but it also was like, dang, you drafted half of the person's rent. So I was upset for them. So the wife was super upset. It was her bank account. And for literally 30 days, the whole next month, I literally followed up with the company every single day. They were like, maybe we should redate the policy and then they'll pay more than 302. I said, no, she's not going to do that. We need to refund the 302. And I got them to refund the extra 302 they drafted. And our company kept the original date and let the couple keep their policy as is, even though the couple did meet with me 2 months later. It took me a whole month to do that. But the wife said, if it wasn't for you, Jen, I would have canceled this a long time ago. And that made me feel so good because I did the customer service for my client. So anyways, October comes, they get ready to divorce, they separate their policies, and they change their beneficiaries. And we meet with the beneficiary in emergency contact. The new beneficiary was his daughter, 37 years old. And I met with her in November to deliver our beneficiary form. She has my information now, and she left, put everything in the black box. I left. That was a 10-minute, 15-minute meeting, got to know her, whatnot. The next month, her dad passed away of a heart attack. And if you guys are keeping track of the time frame here, I met them in July. He passed away in December. We paid out $100,000, no questions asked, and I delivered that check in hand. That is the reason why you want to get great at delivering a policy. You don't know what could happen. What if I didn't even read that book? I wouldn't have been able to deliver the policy. What if I didn't listen to my trainer? That family would have been out of $100,000. And the granddaughter, she's 6 years old. She drew a picture on the whiteboard, Shay, with her grandfather over the tombstone and said, "Long live granddaddy." The 6-year-old granddaughter. She was like, granddaddy will always live here. You know? I was like, wow, that is very emotional. I'm not gonna lie, I cried with the beneficiary, and it was very heartbreaking to see her her daughter like that, because that was her best friend, the granddad, who took her to school every single day. So you want to get good at closing and delivering policies, and really make sure your client knows that you're there for them. You're not just an insurance agent. So that's what. Mute yourself, guys. Okay.
I just muted them. Sorry, Jen.
Okay.
Make sure
No
you guys are muted.
Yeah, no problem. But that's the strength of our company, guys. And it goes further than that, but I'll stop there as far as our company, because I had to help her with the other company through his job, and it was just a mess. So that, hopefully that answers any of your questions. Anything you want to add, Shay?
Yeah, I have one more story. And this is why stories are important, you all, because people can relate to the stories that we have, and they're real, right? We have fun. We love making money. We like seeing who's the top recruiter, the top, premium, personal premium. But what we do, you all, we change people's lives. Think about it. Someone passes away, right? First and foremost, we help them apply for insurance. Then we get them to keep the policy. They pass away, and we deliver a claim. Think about what we've done. This is huge. This is so huge, right? We come in for it for the money, but there are so many things that are behind the scenes outside of everything else that we do, right? So one last story. I had, my husband and I had recruited my nephew, Andre, into the business, right? And Andre, he was in training. I was field training Andre, and Andre had booked an appointment in Culpeper. Okay, for those of you who are in the DMV area, at the time I was in Herndon, and Culpeper was about 2.5 hours away. So I'm telling my nephew, I'm like, listen, we'll go to Culpeper, but you got to have at least 2 to 3 appointments, right? Because my driving time alone is going to be 5 hours. So I would at least, like to have 2 or 3 appointments so something can happen, right? So make a long story short, we only had one appointment with his coworker and his coworker's wife. My nephew ended up texting me talking about, I have to work overtime. I can't make it. So what do I want to do? I want to cancel the daggone policy. It's one appointment, nephew. You didn't you didn't schedule more than one, but something, God said go. I know you don't want to go, Shay, but you got to go. This is what you do. So I called Maurice. His name was Maurice Porter. And I said, hey, Maurice, Andre's not going to be able to make it. It's okay if I come. He said yes. Went to the appointment, got to the client's house. Mind you, first and foremost, it was an interracial couple, right? So the woman was white and the dad was black. The woman was looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, who are you? Where'd you come from? How'd you meet my husband? Right? So I had to build rapport, get her to like and trust me. And I mean, the whole time she's just mean mugging me, just really nasty. Did the appointment, going through the presentation, and she keeps telling Maurice, we can't afford it. We don't have the money. We're not going to be able to do this. Maurice is like, no, we're doing it. We have to do it. This is important. It's my responsibility to make sure that we do it, right? They ended up becoming a client. They kept the policy for 2 years. Maurice had sickle cell. So here it is, you all. This is a rated policy. If you all know what sickle cell is, it's a blood disease, and it's huge amongst African Americans. So Maurice was 29 years old. He had sickle cell. He fell into a coma. He got pneumonia, fell into a coma. My nephew called me and was like, hey, auntie, did Shannon call you? Her name was Shannon as well. Did Shannon call you? I'm like, no, what happened? He's like, Maurice is in a coma. And I'm like, why hasn't she called me? He's like, I don't know. So I called Shannon, and she's like, hey, Miss Shay, the reason why I didn't call you is because the policy has lapsed. And I'm like, oh, Maurice. But the reason why it lapsed is because he had been in a hospital for over 2 months. So he had stopped working. He was the breadwinner. He was 29. They had a newborn baby. They had an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old at the time. So we called Primerica. Primerica says, listen to this, a rated policy. So we've taken on more risk because of sickle cell, right? And if you guys know the numbers on sickle cell, more than likely they say most people die before the age of 42 with sickle cell. Okay, he was 29 at the time. So we call home office on a rated policy for someone who's already in the hospital in a coma due to the sickle cell weakening his immune system. Think about that first and foremost, okay? Secondly, Primerica says, if you all can get us in 1 month premium, the policy had been lapsed for 2, going on 3. If you can get us 1 premium in, right, we'll put the policy back in force, right?
Wow.
Most insurance companies look to not pay a claim. Primerica looks to pay a claim. Make a long story short, we were able to get that premium from Shannon. We overnighted it, policy back in force. The following week, right, probably 10 days later, Maurice passes away, you all. He had a massive heart attack in his sleep, passed away. We delivered that claim to that widow. She was not even 30. She had a newborn. Their son was probably about 5, 6 months old. We delivered that claim. The policy should not have, it was not enforced. It was lapsed. Think about that. That's the type of company that we all represent. Is it about making money? Absolutely. But think about what we just transferred. We just helped them transfer wealth, right? Shannon did the right things with the money. She did the right things, right? I follow her on Facebook. We're friends. Every year she reaches out to me on Maurice's birthday and the day that he passed away, thanking me because she was so nasty to me. And I wanted to leave. I wanted to go off on her. I wanted to do all those things, but I did it. Thank God for Primerica, right? But I did it. So this is the type of company that you all represent. Is it about being successful, wealthy? Yep, all of that. But we also want to do it for our clients as well. Think about that. This is huge, man. This is huge. She did the right things with the money as well. And Maurice was adamant about getting this policy, right? So tell these stories. 29 years old. Policy was lapsed. We got 1 premium in. Primerica put the policy back in force and paid the claim. We should not have paid the claim. We probably should not have issued the policy at all, but we did. Right? So when you do what's right, and we do 100% of the time, we know Primerica does. Now us as agents have to make sure we do what's right as well. And when we do that, you all, man, what an amazing company. Thank God for Primerica. Thank God. Thank God for Primerica.
So amazing. Whew. So anybody have questions? That was a lot of stories, guys. We can keep going. Type your questions out. Tiffany said, well, it's a comment. I have had to do a reconsideration based for what was a mistake and client medical notes. Got approved and rating removed. Client thanks me for fighting for her. Yeah, use that story.
That's huge. That's huge because they could have did something else with that policy, right? And the fact that it was a mistake, and that has happened. I've had clients who've had mistakes. That has happened, so that's good. Anyone? Y'all better. No. You don't get a rated policy, y'all. You better ask these questions because when you get it, you're like, oh, can I get them to keep it? You're gonna get it. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
Pick up the book How to Master the Art of Selling, guys, by Tom Hopkins. And really do the exercises. Don't just read it. Don't just skim it. Really read it. Go through the chapters. Internalize it. And if you really look at your trainers and you hear your trainers in the field, we make it look so easy. But really, we put in hours of skill sets and making sure that we could transition from slide to slide and tie down questions and making sure the client had yes momentum with us. All that comes with experience. It comes with hours of work. And in cheerleading, we had 140 cheers we had to learn. And I know your daughter's in cheerleading now, so she's got all these cheers to learn, right, Shay?
She is, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of teamwork. It's a lot of learning the movements, the counts, all of that. It's a lot of cheers. It's like learning scripts, basically. Mm-hmm. And I remember the coach said that you don't get recognized for what you do just in practice. You guys got to practice at home. And so I practice at home all the cheers. So you guys can't just come into a QA and wing it, because when things happen and you haven't been in that situation, you're going to wish that you would have either asked a question up front or went through your practice, or, drilled with your trainer. And your trainer loves it. We love it when people ask, hey, can you please help me with this, right? We want to know what we can help you guys with. So,
Right.
ask your upline to spend time with you at night after QA hours, not during the day. Tiffany asked, why don't we take a deposit on possible rated policy? Shay, you can answer that.
Because they may get declined. And if they did get declined, there are some other behind the scenes of quality of business, persistency, and taking rate that we don't want to deal with, right? And then you don't want to take the client's money as well, right? So we would much rather do a COD to see if we can get them approved, and then come back and give them our recommendation, and then take the check for them, right? Because we don't know at that point if they have medical issues. We don't know if we can get them approved, and it comes with that under promise, over deliver, right? I don't know, but then you come back, they get approved, right? You over deliver. So it comes with under promising, because we are not underwriting. We do not underwrite at the qualified appointment. We let our underwriting writers do that for us. We just assist with the application. So that is why. Okay, we don't want to take their money if we don't know, and we don't want to get them excited and then it comes back declined. Then you got to call them back, and sometimes the client will be upset. Like, why didn't you decline? We don't want to do that. We want to under deliver, over promise, right? We get them approved. We come back. Guess what? Like, Jill, you got approved. Congratulations. We don't make it easy. That was huge, right? So that is why we don't want to take their money if we don't know. If we simply just don't know if the company is willing to take on additional risk based off of diabetes, cancer, overweight. That is why. That's important. And you also have to understand is, as an insurance company, we have millions and millions and millions of clients. Think about that. If we've taken it and we get them approved for every rated policy, there will be no insurance companies, because we'd be paying out more claims than $3 million a day because of people being rated. People get diagnosed with cancer, they have 6 months to live. Everybody would be applying for insurance, getting $1 million, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure, we want to under promise. Let's take the application. Just because we want it doesn't mean we'll get approved for it, right? So we want to under promise and over deliver. That would be the reason why. Great.
Jenny asks, have you had any clients with COVID? If so, please share your story. I haven't had any clients that applied while they had COVID. I've had clients that got COVID after they applied, but in the beginning, when they did the application, they wanted to think about doing the application, but because either I or somebody else on our team pushed them just a little bit to apply, and then they got COVID later, they were thankful that we had pushed them and got them to at least apply, and then they got issued. So that's why you want to also kind of, push, but professionally, right? And make sure you kind of nudge them a little bit, especially if they don't have any coverage.
Right.
Did you have any clients pass away of COVID, Shay?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't even applied with anyone with COVID, unless they didn't tell the truth, but I haven't.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, how do you get the rated policy or rated premium to come back down to standard?
You have to do a reconsideration with the underwriting. And the one I just recently got, the client went and did a physical exam with her doctor, blood work, urine vitals, and we were able to take that and present it to underwriting, and they dropped it back down to standard. So there's work that the client has to do in order for that to happen. We have to prove that they're not, that we are not taking on additional risk as far as whatever they saw that was in their medical records previously, right? So we have to prove that that is no longer, in order for Primerica to drop that back down to standard. Mm-hmm. So we got to do our part. And sometimes clients don't want to do that because it is what it is. Their health is not good.
Waiver premium, does that cost more? And can you explain refunding back the premium? Okay, that's a two-part question. Waiver premium does cost more. They'll pay for the extra benefit, but the younger they are when they attach waiver premium, the less it will be. So off the top of my head, I'm just throwing numbers around it. For a 50-year-old, it might be an extra like $15. For a
Mhm.
20-year-old, it might be an extra 60 cents.
Mhm.
So because the likelihood of you getting disabled is less, right?
And with the waiver of premium, you all, because we go over all of these benefits in our presentation, just mark it. Don't even tell them that, oh, it's a difference between waiver of premium and not RIP. Just mark it. When you quote them, they don't even know. They only know what you tell them. And we go over all of these benefits. So what would it look like if we go over all of these benefits, terminal illness rider, up to 70%, and then you mark no for waiver of premium? They don't even have it because you mark no. Right? So mark waiver of premium at all times and don't even tell them that there's a difference versus, not, because we're already going over the benefits. And this is what comes with our policies. This is a huge benefit. And sometimes, yes, we may be a little bit slightly more than other companies, but this is why all of our riders, you get me, you get the terminal illness rider, you get the IBR, right? You get the guaranteed conversion. You don't have to reprove your health over and over, right? What is the biggest issue with most people as they get older with their health? They'll tell you it deteriorates. Exactly. We have a guaranteed conversion, right? So these benefits that come along with our policies, they're stellar. They're like no other. So when you quote waiver of premium, click yes, boop. That's a great question.
Any other questions, guys? Oh, not able to hear you, Shay.
Oh no, I was reading. My lips were moving. I was reading the question. My bad. I was reading Tiffany's question. She said, I pushed the client to do the medicals, and if we hadn't done that, she wouldn't have been approved. She happily took her rated policy with us because she would have been denied. So it was a good result for her. Yep. That's good. Yep. That's like a reconsideration if she didn't do it. She goes and does the physical exam. They come back and see that this is what she is now versus what she was before. That's good. All right. All right, y'all. So remember, who knows what the goal is this month? Somebody say it. Unmute yourself and say it. Somebody.
Get Shaq to 500,000.
Yes. Y'all know how much I'm talking about it on Top Notch Team. Listen. I think he's at 27,000, Jen. What is he at income right now?
Yeah, 27. I checked yesterday, he was at 26.
Okay, so he needs about 33,000, give or take, in order to hit 60 grand. He said he needs about 60,000 to make an income. Listen, you all, listen. You've got to lift up every single rock. If you're licensed, you call your family members. This is the time. Good business though, because we don't want him to get over and then it all charged back. Good business, good, clean, quality, do the whole presentation, even if they just want the insurance. Business. Okay, T and Shay have made all these mistakes for y'all. Trust me, and then some. Do the right thing. Get clean business. We are going to take Shaq over 500,000. I'm so excited. I cannot sleep at night thinking about getting him over 500,000. Right? We got to continue to push him up. All right, because that clears the way for Jen Lee to get to 200, 300, 400, 500,000. Right? So this allows everybody to move up when we push our leader up. Remember, by you doing this, you'll get promoted. You'll get more licenses. You'll get more premium. Your income will go up. These are exciting times in our hierarchy. Things are happening. We got some stellar people coming in our group, right? So we have got to push to get Shaq over 500,000. Jen, what is your team's goal this month?
50 by 50.
50 by 50,000. All right, Diamonds Under Pressure. Y'all got that name for a reason.
Yeah.
Y'all are under pressure. So y'all got to push. Top Notch Team, we got to push. I see Gabe and Tanya. Come on, Gabe, you already know what it is. We got to get our leader over that hump. Enough is enough, right? I'm sick and tired of people passing our leader and we still hovering around 450. Shaq should be at 1 million by now. Seriously. It is our time to get him and Iram over this hump. Come on, y'all, push. We can do it. We can absolutely do it. Now is the time. Set your appointments, right? I advise you all, this is what I tell my team, get to that 5 to 10 appointment set before Saturday morning, right? Between me, Mama V, Donald, and Jan, we already have 20 plus appointments set amongst us because we start setting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for people who reschedule. you know, because we know as it comes near to the end of the week, how flaky people are. So we start pushing our week out. So that way, when you get to Saturday, you're already putting QA set 1, QA set 2. You already uploading what you've already said. Then you hop back on the phone and set 5, 10 more. That's how you do it. Don't wait, you all. You should be having an appointment set right after training. And then you can get your week started. This is our time, right? It's the standard hierarchy. We got to set a standard. We got to make it move, right? We are the examples, okay? So let's get started. Let's continue to book out our week, and let's get Shaq over this 500,000 so we can have a virtual party. Virtual party, y'all. We're gonna have a virtual party when we get our leader over this mark. And then when we finally go back to normal, hopefully he'll be at 700, 800, a million. Then we can have a big old party to celebrate. All right. So God bless you all. Be safe out there. Wear your daggone mask. No matter what people say, wear your mask anyway. All right. And let's get Shaq over 500,000.
Let's go.
Have a good weekend. See y'all later.